Welcome to Art Inspired Yoga at the Barrie Art Museum. My name's Leah of Rise and Shine. This flow we feature Mark Peiser's Passage Number 5. Mark Peiser is a highly acclaimed studio glass innovator whose work was inspired by intense study of the Hale telescope mirror at the Palomar Observatory in California. Peiser realized the mirror's single glass formula produced a spectrum of colors depending on the glass's thickness. Peiser harnessed this visual effect to create sculptures that respond to light with polychrome volume. The high arc of this portal beckons to an element of passage and transition similar to the changing hues of a sunset. If you enjoy art-inspired yoga, we highly encourage you to become a member of the Barrie Art Museum. We'd love to have you. Come by for a visit. Check out the art in person. Can't wait to see you here on the beautiful campus of Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia. Welcome to the yoga portion of Art Inspired Yoga. If you have blocks, go ahead and grab them. We're going to be highlighting Mark Peiser's Passage Number 5. If you don't have blocks, pillows or books also are a good substitute. Gently sit down now on your mat and lower yourself down carefully to your back. Feel free to put your yoga blocks underneath your thighs in Supta Baddha Konasana. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Ease into this. Ground into your body. Keep breathing. And exhale, release. With every yoga class, always see what feels right for you. Maybe a pose isn't available to you today. That's okay. Go at your own pace. Now gently bring your legs together, closing them like a book. Bring your knees into your chest. You can rock side to side gently, giving yourself a lower back massage. Always keep breathing. Now tee out your arms to both sides. Gently lower both knees to the left. Let your right shoulder be glued to the mat if that's available for you, and you can look over your right shoulder or keep looking up to the ceiling if that's a little too much pressure on your neck. Exhale your knees back to center. Wiggle out a bit. And now gently lower your knees to the right side. Left shoulder stays on the mat. Looking over towards your left shoulder, or again, option to look up to the ceiling. Breathe in here. And exhale. Inhale your knees back to center. You can hug your knees in closer to your chest, grabbing at the shin or the hamstrings. Your choice. Now gently roll over onto one side, or you can rock and roll up and down your spine as long as you meet sitting upwards. Again, so option to rock and roll forward, or roll onto one side and push yourself up. Now let's meet in tabletop position. Hands are firmly under your shoulders, or you can use your blocks and rest your hands on top of your blocks, or you can make fists. Inhale to cow, shining your heart forward. Exhale to cat. Really make sure to tuck your chin into your chest. Inhale again to cow, warming up our spine here. Exhale to cat, rounding out your back like a Halloween cat. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat, bringing your belly button into your spine. Coming back now to neutral tabletop position. Now you're just going to rest your head down in child's pose. Let your hips come towards your heels. Keep breathing at your own pace. Your arms can be extended in front of you, or you can grab the soles of your feet or wrap around your feet, letting your arms almost hug you in. Push on up. I always like to keep my blocks nearby and handy. So now we're going to do a little bit more of a shoulder and chest opener. Puppy pose. You can use your blocks, resting them underneath almost by your armpit area, and you let your head come down. You're going to have to adjust to see what feels best for you. Sometimes you have to walk your knees closer, sometimes you can keep them out more. And With puppy pose, you don't even need to use the blocks either. It's just an option there for you. You'll feel a nice opener in your shoulders and your chest. When you're ready, walk yourself back up, meeting in tabletop position. Tuck your toes under, nice and firm, hovering tabletop, and shift your hips back to downward facing dog. As always, the first down dog of class, we like to pedal out our down dog. You can keep a rich bend in the knees and extend. Find your position for down dog that feels best for you. Our palms are firmly planted into the mat, chest yearning towards the tops of our thighs. Keep breathing here. Wave forward. Yeah, that's a good distance there. Remember, your down dog to your waving forward to plank, you should be able to do that without having to readjust where you are. Lifting your heels, bending your knees, take steps forward, and exhale, meet in forward fold. Shift your weight into the balls of your feet. Head hangs heavy. You can grab opposite elbows for ragdoll here. It's a nice release in forward fold. Let your head hang heavy, just let it all go. Inhale now to halfway lift, keeping a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees deeply. Inhale, arms overhead, root to rise. Pinky spiral inwards. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samsahiti. Inhale, arms overhead again, extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Head hangs heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your palms. Carefully step back to high plank. Now you can gently lower your knees down, shift back into child's pose, bringing your heels to your hip to your heels. Forehead can rest down on the mat. Now bringing your palms underneath your shoulders. Inhale, right arm comes up, left arm stays grounded. Gentle twist here. Now thread the needle, bring your right shoulder down to the mat, your right ear to the mat. Feeling a nice gentle twist in our upper body. Keep breathing here. And exhale, right arm comes back to the sky. Plant both arms down. Reset with a cow and a cat. This time right hand's planted, left arm comes up. Exhale now, threading the needle. Left arm comes through, bringing your left shoulder and left ear down to the mat. Lift up, left arm up, and left arm comes back to the mat. Cow here, and a cat. Resetting ourselves now. Bring your right foot to in between both hands. Lift up now to low lunge, making sure our knee doesn't go over our front toe. Arms can extend. We could cactus our arms back, shining our heart upwards. Extend arms again. And now lower your arms down. Feel free to use your blocks for this pose. I love using blocks on half splits. Or you can just have your fingers tented up on the mat. Feel free to keep a soft bend in your right knee. Right foot is flexed, protecting our knee joint. And bring your chest down towards your shin here. Now rebend into your right knee. Tuck your left toes under for runner's lunge. Now for runner's lunge, you're going to move your arms. So now we're facing the side of our mat. And now we're in a wide-legged forward fold. Your hands could be by your ankles, or you can clasp them behind you for a slight bind. Yep, see what feels good for you. Let your head come down heavy. This is just like our regular forward fold, but this time to the side of our mat. From here, walk your arms. Now you're facing the back of your mat and your left knee is bent. Lower your right knee down, untuck your right toes. Inhale, low crescent lunge. Cactus your arms, shine your heart upward. Extend your arms again. Plant your palms this time. Shift back to left half splits. Again, feel free to use blocks here if you like, or just use your fingers tented on the mat. Left foot is flexed. You're keeping a nice flat back. Shoulders are still pushed back. Collarbone is broadened. Exhale, deepen into that stretch. Rebend into your left knee now. Tuck your right toes under. And you can walk your hands again back to the side of your mat. Another wide-legged forward fold. See if you can go a little deeper this time into this forward fold. You can keep your hands underneath, or you can bind them again behind your back, as long as your head's hanging heavy and your weight's shifted forward to the balls of your feet. From here, inhale, halfway lift, exhale, release, and I like to heel toe my feet together and roll up one vertebra at a time. All right, good to see you all again, my better side. So we have a wide pose here now. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to do a deep yoga squat here. Feel free to use blocks again or pillows, whatever you have at your availability, and you can sit on top. This helps you lower down with these props. Our elbows help us to keep our legs spread open, a nice hip opener here. Hands to our heart center, yearning to keep our shoulder blades back so we're not too hunched over. Keep breathing, and you can lower your hands down, just extend your legs here. Again, that ragdoll sensation when you grab opposite elbow. Feel free just to do some organic movement, rock side to side, make little circles. Remember, let your head hang heavy, have fun with this. Slide your feet together. You can rotate like a little rainbow, drawing rainbows on the mat. Keeping your head heavy. Bend your knees now and roll up one vertebra at a time. Really being kind to our body and listening to it. Now back to the front of your mat. Inhale, arms extended, mountain pose. Exhale, through to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms. Step back to high plank. Shift forward, lower your knees now, untuck your toes, and we can move into our chaturanga. Or if you want to do the full expression, stay off your knees, lift up to upward facing dog, thinking tall, and shift back to downward facing dog. Good. Now lift your right leg up, three-legged dog. Open up to the side, opening that hip. It feels so good when you can point your foot here. Now reflex it, re-square your hips down to the mat. Same thing on left side. Left leg comes up, open your hip, bend your knee. Good. Re-square your hips down to the mat. Down dog here, and wave forward to high plank. Shift back to downward facing dog, and wave forward to high plank. Move through your vinyasa if you so desire. Upward facing dog here, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg, three-legged dog. Open your hip up again, bend your knee. This time, bring your right knee to the outside of your mat. Cartwheel open to warrior two. A strong bend in our right knee. Resettle your shoulder blades away from your ears. Flip your right palm up. Reverse warrior. Reaching upwards, elongating through our right side body. You can look down to the mat or up to your hand. Pre-bend to warrior two. And keep flowing to extended side angle. You can rest your arm on your quad or use a block for support. See what feels best for you today. You should really feel a nice stretch along your left side body. Inhale up to warrior two, and cartwheel your hands back to the mat, step back to high plank. Move through your vinyasa, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg, three-legged dog, opening your hip up. Bring your left leg into center now, and cartwheel your arms open, warrior two. Hey there. Relax the shoulder blades away from the ears. Rebend so strongly into your front left knee. Good job, everyone. Flip your left palm, reach up and over. Reverse warrior. Again, really feeling that nice side stretch. Option to look down at your foot or up ahead. Rebend your arms to warrior two. An extended side angle. Choose what feels best for you. Resting your arm, perhaps elongating your arm to the mat. See what you feel best with today. Arms come back up to warrior two, so strong, and plant both hands down, step back to high plank, move through your vinyasa of choice, or just meet in downward facing dog. Every yoga class is what you want to do and what feels best for you. Lift up on your heels and meet in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, forward fold. Do a nice little rainbow with your arms. Swing gently side to side. Bend your knees and roll up one vertebra at a time. Beautiful. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. So you're going to want to make sure you have some room here. Go back to that wide yoga squat that we did in the beginning of class. You can use your blocks again if you want to sit on that. So make sure you have your chest open, nice and tall, so you're not too hunched over. All right, we're going to play around with a new pose. Okay, feel free to use your blocks. Remember, it's just yoga, so have fun with it. If you've never done crow pose, you want to make sure you have a nice, solid, firm base with your palms, and you're just going to rock back and forth, bringing your knees to the back of your arms, to your triceps. You can really, truly wiggle with it. Some people like to go from the tops of their blocks. Some people like to reach up on their toes like I am, and you just rock back and forth with it. And the goal is to balance on your arms. There you go. Crow pose is a very challenging pose. So as long as you're doing your best, and you know what? That right here is crow pose. Some days it comes a little more easier. Some days you gotta work at it. But it's called yoga practice, not yoga perfect, right? Some people like to use their blocks almost as a launching off spot for their crow pose. Really just play with it and see. As long as your knees are coming into the backs of your arms, you have a firm planting through your palms, and trust yourself and trust your body. There you go. Sometimes your head might come down. It's okay. As you can see, today the balance wasn't quite there for me today, but that's all right. It's always a yoga practice. Every day is a new opportunity to try. Keep playing with this crow pose wherever you may be in your yoga journey. Use blocks to help you. Keep breathing. And you just might surprise yourself at what poses become available to you. When you're done, go back into our deep yoga squat. Extend your legs now. Leaning forward fold. You did a good job. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, forward fold. Going back to that rainbow. Crow pose is such a strengthener on our arms. We're going to be using our arms a little bit later in class. Inhale, arms overhead, extended mountain pose. You can move a little bit more to the front of your mat. Inhale, right leg comes up. You have a balanced posture here. And step your right foot back into warrior one. So our hips are still facing forward. Our hips are squared forward, arms are extended overhead, shoulder blades away from the ears. Good. And rock up so that your right leg's there. Left leg comes up now. Step your left foot back. Square your hips forward still. Warrior one. Engage your core here. Have a strong bend in your front leg. And bring your left leg back up. There you go. Sometimes you lose balance. Again, yoga practice, not yoga perfect. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center. Meeting back and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step your left foot back and then your right. Making space for yourself. Just like we did in the beginning of class, you feel free to use your blocks to rest on, or if that's not, it doesn't feel good for you, no need to. So this is puppy pose without the blocks. So it's like a child's pose, but we keep our bottom up in the air. If you want, you can rest a block or your fists under your forehead. This feels really good for opening our back. I mentioned earlier that we're going to be using our arms later in class. We're getting ready for our peak pose, totally inspired by Mark Peiser's piece. We ourselves are going to be doing a wheel pose. So when you think of what a wheel looks like, it's essentially like a rainbow or like an arch. So it's important to warm up our arms, warm up our back, warm up our shoulders for this pose. A few cat-cows at your leisure. And sit back tall. All right, so at your home, for getting ready for a wheel pose, you can use blocks Lay back down gently. And as if you're practicing against a wall, you can use the wall to walk your arms down. You'll see what I mean in a little bit here. Inhale here, bridge pose. Lift your hips up. Relax your shoulder blades down on the mat still, and lower your hips. If you want, you can bring a block in between your thighs and squeeze your thighs together. You want to make sure your legs are still engaged, even when you're lifting up with your hips. Lift through the soles of your feet, looking at your belly button, and relax down. One more time for good measure. You can also bring a block underneath you for support. Play around with this, see what feels best for you in bridge. Just keep breathing and think of your hips lifting up. Our soles of our feet help us lift, not necessarily our glutes alone. So now, getting ready for wheel pose, you want to bring your arms close to your shoulders and you want to keep your elbows in close to your body. Don't let them splay out. Same with your legs. Keep your legs engaged inward. When you're ready, you're going to engage everything and lift up. And you want the crown of your head to be facing down to the mat. Just like in Mark Peiser's piece, really imitating that shape. When you're ready, gently lower back down. This is a full body strengthener. You're doing great. Again, feel free to use your blocks for support if that feels best for you. Going for round 2 of wheel pose, push up through the soles of your feet and through your palms and lift up. Think high. Bring the crown of your head to the mat. Keep breathing and gently lower down. You are safe. If you have a block or bolster at home, that's also a good prop to use for support behind you and underneath you rather. All right, good work everyone. Now let your knees knock together. Wheel pose can be such a big heart opener and such a challenging pose, so a nice restorative counter pose to that is to give yourself a deep hug and to knock your knees together. Gently now bring your both knees to your chest and rock side to side, massaging your back. Wheel and crow pose ask a lot of us, so it's good that we, nurture our body as well when we challenge it. Extend your left leg out. And now switch and extend your right leg out, feeling a nice stretch and elongation in your hips there, in your hip flexor. Bring both knees to center. And grab the soles of your feet or hamstrings for Happy Baby. With Happy Baby, if you push up through your hands as you bring your feet closer to you, it'll be a nice release in your lower back. Gently rock side to side. You did a great job. And exhale. Bring your legs back down to the mat. Cross your right leg over your left quad now. Make sure your right foot is flexed. Bring your left leg into you for a reclined seated figure 4. You'll feel a nice opener in your left or your right hip here rather. Now inhale, bring your left foot up and cross over your right quad. You can grab at your hamstring or your shin. Keep your left foot flexed to keep your knee nice and safe. Providing some stretch here for our outer hips here. And exhale, release. Uncross your left leg here. Gently lift up for one more bridge pose, remembering to engage your inner thighs together. Lift your hips up. Your arms can be bound underneath your hips. Look towards your belly button for a nice lymphatic system cleanser. And lower down very gently. Nice work, everyone. Inhale your knees back to center. Tee out your arms, just like we did in the beginning of class. Lower your knees to the left. Twists are really good to do at the end of class as they help us rinse out any extra energy we may have built during class. Again, option to look over your right shoulder or up to the ceiling. Bring both knees back to center now. And exhale, lower both knees to the right, looking over your left shoulder. Keep breathing. Inhale both knees back to center. Gently rock up and down, side to side, massaging our lower back. Now lengthen both legs up and point and flex your foot. Do what feels best. You can do little circles. If you're home, you can rest your legs up against the wall. This is a nice inversion, basically because by lifting our legs, it's switching the direction our blood normally circulates in, which refreshes our blood circulation. Bend your knees now. Option to keep your knees bent or full length and lower your legs down into our final pose to Shavasana. Let your arms come to your sides, legs extended outwards and possibly slightly opened. Rest here in Shavasana, focusing on your breath, focusing on nothing at all. I will guide us out of this pose momentarily. Begin to deepen your inhales. Start to bring gentle movement back to your body, some wrist circles, ankle circles, gently awakening yourself back up. Reach overhead for a good morning stretch. Reach, reach, reach. Now gently bend one knee, then the other. Roll onto one side using your bottom arm as a pillow. When you're ready, push yourself back up to seated position. Maybe fix your hair a bit. Sitting up nice and tall, bring your hands up overhead. Exhale through your third eye to heart center. Check in with yourself, ground into yourself one last time. One hand on your heart, one hand on your stomach. Inhale here. Knowing you did a great job today. One more breath in. And exhale. Bring your hands back to your third eye. I bow to you. Thank you for sharing in this time and practice with me. Namaste. Thank you. Take care, everybody.